Hey, good morning and welcome to Oasis Live. We're going to be dealing with a subject this morning that's near and dear to my heart. Number one, because I'm a person that have to use these tips relatively often. And so we're going to talk about 9 tips to dealing with teenage emotions. I used to jokingly say that teenagers kind of lose their mind from the ages of 13 to 21. And all of a sudden they show back up and go, hey, where have I been for the last several years? Well, no, they don't ask that question because they think that they're normal and they think that they're okay and their life is grand. But we say, where have you been for the last several years? My sweet, innocent child that I've been raising up until the age of 13. But of course, we all know that life starts lifing. And we all go through phases in our life. And so, guess what? Teenagers are afforded the same opportunities. So, I'm going to give you 9 tips today on how to manage or deal with teenagers' emotions from an adult's, a parent's standpoint. Now, the categories are, I didn't make up the categories. I used the wisdom of connectionsacademy.com, but the comments are definitely mine. So, the first tip that I want to give you on how to manage teenage emotions is to always remain calm. Whenever possible, try not to communicate with your children or your teenager when you're upset, exhausted, or just not feeling it. Why? Because it's very difficult to remain calm when you're exhausted, when you're upset, when things are not going well with you. So it's important to take a breath, or as my husband would say, take a moment of pause and come back to the conversation when you can rationally or calmly talk about it. The second thing is that scientifically, we have to understand the teenage brain. Now, even though they may look like an adult on the outside, sometimes even their conversations are adult mature at times. We have to remember that depending upon their biological age, their developmental age may be very different. And so, without going into all of the science and the scientific nature of developmental milestones, remember, even if your 15-year-old son is 6 feet tall, wears a size 12 and a half shoes, he's still 15. And sometimes he wants to be treated like a baby. He wants to cuddle up and curl up. And then other times he's having very mature conversations with words that even I can't spell. I digress. That's my 15-year-old son. So just make sure that you remember and understand the teen brain. If you don't understand teenage developmental milestones, go into your best friend Google and ask them to help you to interpret those teenage brains. Number 3, be present. Stay present. As a single parent, I know sometimes we get really, really busy with work, our careers, and a lot of other things that consume our time because we don't always have the luxury of having the same type of help that a two-parent family may have. But when your child needs you, they may not be able to communicate, Mom, I need you. Learn how to read their behavior. And even if they don't really express that they need you, or even if they become a little bit more clingy, if they want to stay around you all of a sudden, make sure that you take the time to stop what you're doing and pay attention. Be present. Nothing is more important than you making sure that your child is okay. Work can wait. Phone calls can wait. Social media can wait. Girlfriend conversations can wait. All of that can wait. So be present with your child. That's number 3. Number 4, Bite your tongue. I should have lacerations on my tongue for the number of times that I have to bite my tongue. You know why? Because I have three teenagers. I don't just have one. I don't just have two. I have three teenagers living in my house right now. So there are a lot of times when I want to say something, when I want to clap back, as some folks would say, when I want to say, look here, sometimes I have to bite my tongue. And a lot of times it's more often than I like. Now, why do we need to bite our tongue? Why isn't it them that need to bite their tongue? Because remember what I said, we have to understand the teenage brain. And they may not always know how to compartmentalize, or they may not always know how to articulate exactly what it is that they want to say. So sometimes it comes out wrong. And if we respond to, or no, if we react to what they said to us with the same energy in which they gave it, now you have an explosion. That's not what we want, nor is it what we need. We don't need explosive interactions. So take the time, woman up, and bite your tongue. Next, number 5, respect their differing perspectives. We live in a different generation. If you have a child that's a teenager, that means that you're at least 13 years older than them, which creates a totally different generation. Things that they face now are not the same things that we may have faced in high school. I know when I was coming through high school, there was no such thing as social media. There was no such thing as cyberbullying. There was no such thing as, gang fights and, the kids mob fighting each other. There was no such thing. If we had a beef with somebody and it was going to be a fight, we announced 3:15. We fought. We got it over with. And in many cases, in the next few days, we were cool again. Or we made the decision that you're not part of my circle anymore. And we were okay. And we kept it moving. Things are so much different now. Children are being jumped for no reason, mob fought, all kinds of craziness. My oldest teenager, who's 18 and thank God is graduating in a few days. Graduating on the 20th, which is a few days from now. I have seen videos from her school of mob fights. A few weeks ago, a bus driver got jumped by a teenage girl and a teenage boy. Now, what does that have to do with respecting their differing perspectives? When they say, Mama, I'm not you, or Mama, things are different now, respect that. Now, you do want to share your wisdom with them, but recognize that the wisdom that we needed as teenagers may not be the same wisdom that they need. So listen to them. Find out what's really going on in their world. Find out what's going on in their mind. Find out what's going on in their head and respect that. Invite a two-way dialogue with them so that they can understand your perspective and point of view and you can understand theirs. That's number 5. Number 6, provide outlets. Our children have become so adapted and addicted to social media, including TikTok, including YouTube, including all of those other video devices. Find something else for them to do. Find enjoyable hobbies. Invite them to try new things. Take them roller skating. Take them to see an educational movie. Take them to a museum. Now, they might fight and buck against it because they don't want to do that, or find something that they are interested in. If they're interested in the arts, take them to a cultural exhibit. It doesn't have to be anything expensive. My boys and my husband just recently went to see Shen Yun because they've wanted to see it for the last few years. Now, that was a little bit of an expensive engagement, but it represented culture. It represented something different for them. So give them a different outlet. Find out some of the things that they may be interested in and engage and explore those things. Find things that they may be interested in nature, and engage in providing different outlets, different social groups. Number 7, be a role model. Be somebody that they can look up to. And that goes back to not matching their energy, not making sure that if they're upset, that you get upset with them. Don't try to match their energy. Be the role model. Show them the appropriate way to act, not just with them, with other people. Our kids see everything that we do. And remember, they model what we do. So, is the behavior that you're showing and displaying, is that the behavior that you want them to have? If not, change your behavior. Be conscious of how you're acting in public. Be conscious of how you're acting with your friends. Be conscious of the conversations that you're having around them, even when you think they're not listening. Be conscious of your conversations. Be the role model and the person that you want them to emulate. And then last but not least, well, no, that's number 8. Know when to get some help. Know when to get some help. We as parents don't know it all. That help could be a mentor. It could be a trusted aunt, uncle, or kin, what we call a fictive kin, somebody who they're connected to. It could be a coach. It could be a play aunt or uncle. But it's got to be somebody you trust to guide your child. Or if the situation calls for, get counseling or therapy. Don't be afraid of getting professional help. It's important. And then last but not least, if the situation is an issue at school, be okay with being willing to make the sacrifice to change their school. You may have to put them in an online school, put them in another school in the district, or even make an investment in private school or homeschooling. It's important not only for your peace of mind as the parent of a teenager. It's very important for their safety. It's important for their mental health, and it's important for their psychological health. So those are 9 tips on how to manage teenage emotions. If you don't know how, call me, talk to me, join the Single Moms Hub and bring those concerns to the Single Moms Hub. We meet every first and third Saturday at 11:30 Central Standard Time. We talk about all things single parent, and we're there to support one another. And so until we meet again, this is Dr. Ruby Live. This is Oasis Live, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Don't forget, if you'd like to join the Single Moms Hub, go to www.oasisempowermentzone.com. Click on the tab that says Single Moms Hub, fill out a form, and all of the information will be sent to you. If you'd like to make a donation to the Oasis Empowerment Zone, we are a nonprofit 501c3 as governed by the U.S. IRS, and we do take contributions, and we'll gladly give you a donor letter for your taxes. You can go to our Cash App at $Oasis1020. We also have PayPal and other avenues for taking donations. Hook us up. All right. This is I keep saying Dr. Ruby Says. Dr. Ruby Says. I do have a live called Dr. Ruby Says, but for today, this is Oasis Live. Love and blessings to you.
caught in a wasteland, right in the middle of a day.